Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. New Western TV series highlights the harsh reality of Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone. In early January, Netflix released a brand new Western TV show that has been gaining traction with viewers, and unfortunately, its success highlights a major issue with Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone franchise. The Western genre has long been a pillar of entertainment, ranging from the days of John Wayne to more recent entries like No Country for Old Men and Bone Tomahawk. Since 2018, Yellowstone has brought neo-Western stories to the small screen, following the Dutton family as they grapple for control of their Wyoming ranch. Yet Yellowstone is not necessarily a pinnacle of the true Western. At the moment, Netflix is racking up incredible viewership on its new series, American Primeval. Created by Mark L. Smith, who wrote movies like The Revenant and Twisters, this Western follows a mother and son fleeing their dark past in Utah. However, their intentions are muddied by the growing war between the Mormon religion and Wild West culture. With a solid 63% on Rotten Tomatoes and a spot on Netflix's top series of the week, American Primeval is gaining serious attention. Though this is great for the series, it also shines a light on what other modern Westerns are missing. After watching American Primeval, it becomes abundantly clear that Yellowstone and its consequent spin-offs are not as Western as they may appear to be. In fact, they veer more towards soap operas than true Westerns. Despite being set in the American West and including elements of classic cowboy culture, Yellowstone is much more concerned with the family dynamics and politics of the Dutton's town. Even with the show's occasional violence and fierce attitude, it is hard to ignore that Yellowstone's core is family, not the lone cowboy or the morally gray hero. Looking back over Yellowstone's 5 seasons, the biggest obstacle for the show's Westernness has been John Dutton. With superstar Kevin Costner in this leading role, it seems as though Sheridan wanted Yellowstone to revolve around the Dutton patriarch. He is the ultimate cowboy and the sun around which the other characters revolve. However, for better or for worse, Sheridan has populated Yellowstone with other characters that are far more interesting than John. In this way, Yellowstone does not follow the typical Western storyline, and instead offers the type of ensemble work that often appears in soap operas. Compared to Yellowstone, American Primeval feels far more like a true Western series. The show is gritty, gruesome, and filled with historical value that Yellowstone simply doesn't provide, at least not in its main series. This isn't to say that American Primeval is the best Western around, but it certainly follows the tracks that one would expect from a conventional Western. There are heroes and villains, intense shootouts, and violence around every corner. Although American Primeval also boasts a strong ensemble of characters, they are not weighed down by modern archetypes or ideas. They are truly Western. In reality, this is what really sets American Primeval apart from Yellowstone. Yellowstone may have the right setting and the right themes, but its time period makes it difficult for the show to feel like the Westerns audiences know and love. American Primeval benefits from its Utah setting, but it goes the extra mile by also being set in the 1850s and pulling from American Primeval's true history. Neo-Westerns certainly make for interesting stories, and Yellowstone isn't bad by any means, but it feels fundamentally different from Westerns that are set during the actual Wild West time period, like American Primeval. Overall, Yellowstone's failings are not entirely the show's fault. Westerns are very hard to get right in the modern day. As previously mentioned, neo-Westerns can have all the fixings of a great Western, but without that old-timey setting, it can feel like any other story. Generally, successful Westerns rely on the fact that the Wild West was a different time. It was a brutal era full of feuding groups and hard-won survival. This is entertaining to watch, but it doesn't quite match the modern day. The Dutton family do not have to fight to survive in the same way cowboys did. In this way, Neo-Westerns like Yellowstone may never feel like true Westerns. As hard as they try to recreate the cowboy stereotype through characters like John Dutton or Rip Wheeler, these men will never face the kind of turmoil that actually occurred in the Wild West. Their problems simply do not align with those of men from the 1850s. Thus, the Western genre is firmly rooted in the past. As hard as Yellowstone may try, it cannot evoke the same over-the-top violent atmosphere as American primeval. The Western genre has always held a unique place in American entertainment, offering tales of grit, resilience, and the untamed wilderness. However, with Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone carving a dramatic and thought-provoking niche in this landscape, a new Western TV series emerges to push boundaries even further. This as-yet unnamed series doesn't just tread on familiar ground, but confronts viewers with the unvarnished truths of a modern frontier, mirroring and expanding upon the themes that have made Yellowstone a cultural phenomenon. A gritty departure from romanticized tropes. At its core, this new series stands as a stark departure from the romanticized portrayals of cowboys and rugged individualism often seen in classic westerns. While Yellowstone delves into the complexities of family, power, and land ownership, this show digs even deeper into the societal fissures that define today's American West. From the exploitation of labor to environmental degradation and the undercurrents of systemic corruption, the narrative seeks to unravel the uncomfortable realities lurking beneath the veneer of cowboy mystique. The series is set in a remote, drought-stricken region where a small, tight-knit community struggles to survive against mounting economic pressures. With its ensemble cast, each character is a microcosm of contemporary challenges, from an indigenous activist fighting to protect sacred lands to a disillusioned rancher grappling with corporate overreach. These interconnected stories paint a mosaic of modern-day survival and resistance. Expanding on Yellowstone's themes, Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone masterfully explores the tension between tradition and progress, particularly through the lens of the Dutton family's sprawling ranch. The new series takes these themes and amplifies them, portraying the West not as a battleground for dynastic ambition, but as a crucible for the human spirit. It examines how communities navigate a rapidly changing landscape where old ways of life are increasingly incompatible with new realities. Environmentalism plays a central role with storylines that highlight the devastating effects of climate change on agriculture and wildlife. As wildfires become more frequent and water supplies dwindle, characters face impossible choices. Should they sell their ancestral land to developers or cling to a heritage that's becoming increasingly untenable? This narrative thread resonates strongly with viewers who are witnessing similar dilemmas in their own communities. Characters that reflect a broader spectrum. The show's characters are as diverse as the challenges they face, offering a fresh take on the Western archetype. There's Eleanor "Ellie" McCoy, a widowed rancher in her 60s who embodies resilience but harbors a tragic past that she's reluctant to confront. Ellie's story intersects with that of Mateo Ortiz, a young veterinarian of Mexican descent who returns to his hometown to care for his ailing father, only to find himself drawn into local politics and environmental activism. Another compelling figure is Nadine Thundercloud, a fiercely intelligent lawyer from a nearby reservation. She becomes an unlikely ally to Ellie as they work together to challenge a multinational corporation threatening the region's water rights. Nadine's arc is both empowering and heart-wrenching as she grapples with the dual burden of fighting for her people while navigating the personal sacrifices her advocacy demands. Visual storytelling that captures the harsh beauty of the West. Cinematically, the series aspires to elevate the Western aesthetic to new heights. Shot on location in rugged terrains, it captures the raw beauty of the West while emphasizing its harsh realities. The sweeping vistas are juxtaposed with close-up shots of parched earth, abandoned barns, and polluted streams, creating a visual dichotomy that mirrors the show's narrative tensions. The cinematography leans heavily on natural lighting to enhance authenticity, with sunrises casting long shadows over desolate landscapes and thunderstorms rolling ominously over distant mountains. The score, composed of haunting violin melodies and rhythmic percussion, complements the visuals, evoking a sense of both nostalgia and urgency.